The devil's dome and those who pierced him. Now, I don't know how pastors get around the obvious, basic Bible facts 101. So let's read what John first tells us right away in Revelation 1, verse 7. Let's read it. Rev 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Did you catch that? John tells us right here in Revelation 1 verse 7 that Jesus' second coming, he will come and those who pierced him will see him. I don't know what all you Christians are waiting around for on the whole second coming thing. It already happened. John tells you. Okay, Jesus and John understands the stupidity and the ignorance of the year 2026. They understand that. That's why they gave us a heads up. It's right there. They gave you a heads up. Only in the days of Jesus, when he was so-called on the cross, which I do not believe that, but it is written that he was on the cross and they pierced him. It was somebody else that was on the cross. Jesus was above the cross looking down on it, but you get my point. Those who pierced him. He came back in his generation when he said he would. No one alive today saw Jesus get pierced. How do Christians not see this? I mean, those who pierced him, that's case closed. Your whole last 1,000, not, what is it? It's insane. The dumbing down that religions have done to the masses, billions of people. Those who pierced him, that means case closed. We're not waiting for the coming of Jesus. He came back to those who pierced him for a reason. John has shown this because Jesus knows, again, our compliance, our complicity to being dumbed down. We accept, we allow, we enforce on our children to be dumbed down, to be indoctrinated, to follow so-called education. This is Friday. The Sabbath will begin at sunset here. I'm just encouraging you guys to spend some time in Job 19 on our indoctrination, to spend some time in Ezekiel 34 on our indoctrination, to spend some time in Jeremiah 11 on our indoctrination, spend some time in Proverbs 4. Please pick one of those and give the Sabbath 12 hours. Hang right there in Job 19. Hang right there in Ezekiel 34. Just hang out in Jeremiah 11. Give it a good Sabbath. Give it a 12 hours. Quiet, intimate time in the living word. We have to stop being complicit in our ignorance and allowing our education, medicine, and science to dumb us down. It has to stop. Just stop. Because it's going to collapse. The absurdity of Christians waiting for the second coming, the absurdity of waiting for the bridal feast. The bride feast happened in 70 AD. That case is closed. Religion is about mammon, big money. Every Christian just ignores basic Bible facts that I just read in John told us in Revelation 1:7. Those who pierce him will see him. So what pastors are actually trained, pastors, priests, rabbi, whatever your clergy title is, they're actually trained to work around basic Bible facts. That's what they're trained to do. They are trained how to make you comply against Bible facts, against the living word, and follow the devil's religions, the devil's teachings. You're complicit and you're being dumbed down in your compliance with your pastor, priest, rabbi, your clergy folk. You're a shepherd. That's right, you're a shepherd. Spend a Sabbath and study all of the words, all of the verses with the word shepherd in them. And if you can't see that 90% of that is evil, you need a new neural network. You are complying with your own death-birth cycle. Loosh for Satan's demiurge. It's been 1,956 years later, and real brides, that means since 70 AD, real brides come to remind the few brides here at this time, this reality. And it takes a bride years of devotion and obedience in the living word. Years, every hour of every day, the luxury and the thirst for the living word to get to a earned title of, yes, Holy Spirit has given the green flag of myself, calling myself a bride. I know I am. And now I live only to help others know they are too. If they can come out of their religious programming, come out of their education, indoctrination, out of medicine, out of science, out of fake space. That is what I know. That is that if you don't understand you're a bride, you're a programmable life form. You are easily programmed. Parents today do not do this to the little ones. They are born upright. They are brides. They no indoctrination needed. Let them talk with nature and the animals. I woke up this morning with a whale talking to me. First it was dolphins. First it was a pod of dolphins, and then a whale came in. More on that later. I'll spend this Sabbath, tonight at sunset, I'll start doing my Universal Telepathy series. That's what we need to be teaching the little ones. Don't do the devil's bidding in this dome. What should we do? Well, let's hear again from John. 1 John 5:18-20. We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not, but he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and the wicked one touch him not. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. And we know that the Son of God is come, and hath given us an understanding, that we may know him that is true. And we are in him that is true, even in his Son, Jesus Christ. That is the true God and eternal life. This alone tells you that you are a bride. You have your crown. Again, John in Revelation 3:11. Let's read it. Behold, I come quickly, and hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Let's repeat that. No man take thy crown. How could man take your crown? Again, it's called education. It's called religion. Instead of you being intimate, spending intimate quality time in the living word, you're just hanging out with your indoctrinated pastors. It's those shepherds. They call themselves the clergy. That is the man that can take away your crown. You were born upright as a bride, period, until you allow your kids to be indoctrinated by man/woman. You allow your doctors, man/woman, to vaccinate. That is how you lose your crown. Stop now and spend a Sabbath. Give it a good 12 hours of Job 19. Job 19 is all the clarity you need. if you're going to just spend a day on Job 19, it is entirely what we call the ways of Satan's dome. If you read all 29 verses of Job 19, and then decide to send your little ones to schools and medicine and science, Job 19 is on the indoctrination. I'll read how the indoctrination will take away your crown. Job 19, verse 9. He hath stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head. You're born upright with the crown. You're all brides until you're indoctrinated by Satan's dome, religions, education, medicine, science. It's all a lie. Our history is a lie. Period. You're a bride until you're entitled men or women step in with their agenda, and you can read their agenda, Job 19 to say the very least, Ezekiel 34, Jeremiah 11, Proverbs 4. It all says the same. The living word only has one message. There's only one message in the living word. It'll say that one message, 100 different ways, but it's one message. When you spend quality time in the living word, you'll see it's said in hundreds of ways. It's the same thing over and over. There's nothing new under the sun. What is that? That is the message. The message is that it is you who comply and you follow the devil's dome agenda. You lose your bridal status and you become a PLF, a programmable life form, or worse, an NPC, a non-playing character. Soul is just gone. Because they're hunting your souls. They're eating souls. Religions eat souls. Period. You accept Satan's programmable life form, that is to say his education and his religions and his mammon. You follow Satan's religions in this dome. I don't care what religion you call. I don't care what you call yourself. Okay, it's an agenda of this dome. And if the Epstein files has not proven that, well, you're an NPC. And my video is not for you, and you're not listening to my video. No NPCs are making their way towards my videos. All right? The only thing that our systems stand for here is for your compliance to stupidity. You know, what do they call that? Darwin's theory of evolution, that you evolved from an ape. All right, that means you lose your crown as a bride when you believe that kind of nonsense. When Jesus came to this dome, he brought his crown to all his brides, period. He left us with the Holy Spirit. He came back, as he said he would, to those who pierced him in 70 AD. It's simple history. It's not difficult to find. But everybody wants to follow their indoctrination and their religions. They want to believe in their pastors, priests, and rabbis. So the only thing that Jesus can do now, because he's not coming back a third time, he has to send his brides to do his continuing message to wake up PLFs. You are under a spell. You are indoctrinated. We have used witchcraft and hypnosis over you, on you, through you, every which way. You have been pierced. Your soul has been pierced. We souls, brides, are sent here. Well, I should say, all younger souls, right? You have souls that know they're a bride and they come to deliver a message and try to break through the witchcraft, the spell. But young souls are sent here also. This is a learning dome. You come to learn, to conquer, to explore, to fail and start over. As a soul, we are seduced by education, religion, science, and today, space. We must graduate from all of this seduction to become worthy as a bride of Jesus. And brides, volunteer to come back to this dome for a few young souls. I've always said my mission was one soul, one young soul. That's all I can do. A few young souls who have done this dome in many lifetimes to accept your now position as a bride. It's not some feast you're waiting. It's not some visual event in the sky. All right, all of that already happened. There's nothing in this world that is not of Satan, the devil. This is his dome, his thinking. Your religions is the truth, is being programmed to further the devil's lies. Again, I'm going to go back to John. 1 John 2, 15 to 18. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. John knows religion would flourish. John knows your love of your religion in this world will ensure that you never become a bride. Verse 16, 1 John 2, 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. There's no worse pride than calling yourself a pastor, priest, or rabbi. We all know that. We know what Jesus thinks about religious authority in his time. I don't need to repeat John 8:4-4. Let's stay right here in 1 John 2, verse 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. That is a bride, staying in the living word, telling the world your Sunday worship services and Satan. Sunday worship service only serves Satan. You are worshiping the devil's dome, period. 1 John 2, verse 18, little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard, that Antichrist shall come. Even now are many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. The Antichrist came in John's lifetime. Why are you programmable life forms waiting around on this nonsense? Why? Because your platforms for the devil is paying you to say the lies for the devil. It's a way to worship him. He's getting off. Satan is getting off every time you say the beast system is setting into place with the incoming AI. Look, the beast system started in Genesis 1, verse 2. Let me remind you, let's read it. Genesis 1, verse 2, and the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. That is the beginning of the beast system. That is the beginning of mammon. It's all about the money. The AI, look, we had AI 1 billion years ago. Is AI going to take us into a transhuman? Upload your consciousness, that is to say your soul, into something other than human? Yeah, that's going to happen. It's happened before. There's nothing new in this. It happened in Atlantis, it happened in Lemuria, and it happened in ages prior to that. I don't know what those ages are called. Doesn't matter what they're called. It's a cycle. It's always going to happen. There's always going to be a pole shift, and every mountain and island will be moved out of its place. Period. You can boil it down. The message in the Bible, through all of the prophets, through all of the red letters, it's the same. It's telling you who you are and how to escape the death-birth cycle. It's telling you about indoctrination. It's telling you about how for your soul to get hunted and stolen and put on the death-birth cycle. Let's read Ezekiel 13:18 and say, thus says the Lord God, woe to the women who sew magic bands upon all wrists and make veils for the heads of persons of every stature in the hunt for souls. Will you hunt down souls belonging to my people and keep your own souls alive? That's the message. If you want to distill it down to one verse, it's Ezekiel 13:18. And it's said in hundreds and hundreds of ways. As in John 10:10. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. You're not waiting to be a bride. You have that now, unless you accept being a programmable life form complicit to being dumbed down by Satan. You think you're waiting on the second coming and the Antichrist? The Bible is in the present moment. It's a living word for the here and now. It is not past and future. That is the programming that religions do on the Bible. You cannot program the living word. That is Satan's programming with his pastors, priests, clergy of his over 3,000 religions at this point. It's about your souls. Will you continue on Satan's cycle? Matthew 10:28. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. That was red letters, baby. Psalm 7 verse 2. Lest like a lion they tear my soul apart, rending it in pieces, with none to deliver. What is coming is the great harvest for your soul. It's not the Antichrist. It's not killing the red heifer. It's not building another temple. That's not going to happen. It's not prophecy. Jeremiah 23 verse 1. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, declares the Lord. Who are these shepherds, if not the clergy in all the religions today, and those who follow Paul and his teachings in the New Testament? Those are the shepherds that Jeremiah is telling you will destroy you. Jeremiah knew about Paul. Isaiah knew about Paul. Ezekiel knew about Paul. They all knew. Stop now. Go to the concordance, look up shepherds, and read it. Who do you think are those evil shepherds? Because they're all saying the same thing about them. Except for the prophecies on Jesus's coming. The first time when he walked the land. Just stop and read it. I mean, I spent 3 days on that study, 12 hours a day. How many hours is that? 36 hours? Just studying that one word? So, it's the devil's agenda of this dome by telling you the lies that you're waiting on, as in the delusion of 2 Thessalonians 2. That's what you're following instead of Jesus. That is all the lies, making social media wildly popular, wildly followed. And the largest platforms are all about Paul's teachings, especially in Thessalonians. If Jesus was going to send you a strong delusion, would he not have warned you on this? Is Jesus even capable of sending you a strong delusion? No, Betsy, he is not. No. Jesus has never, will never, could never send a strong delusion. Christians love that, though. For some reason, Christians thrive on that. Catastrophobia. All of the Living Word is warning you on religions. You will find the clergy today being warned about. Why else would we read this in Isaiah 56, 10 and 11? Let's just go ahead. Give Isaiah 56 a good hour of your time. Can you do that? On the Sabbath, sunset tonight, really hang in Isaiah 56. But I want to emphasize verses 10 and 11. Because it's radical. Isaiah 56, verse 10, his watchmen are blind. His watchmen are blind. Who do you think his watchmen are? They are all ignorant. Okay, that's not saying some are ignorant. It said they are all ignorant. Now you want to follow your clergy person? They are all dumb dogs. Wow. We can't even give them the title of human. They're so PLF'd that now they're just dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Who are these dumb dogs that cannot bark, loving to slumber, if not the clergy of Satan's religions? The clergy of Satan's religions is making you a programmable life form instead of a bride of the living word. Back to Isaiah 56, let's read verse 11. Yea, they are greedy dogs, mammon, which can never have enough. Look at the big box pastors and their worth. It's in the multi-millions. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. I'm telling you, spend some time and go to the concordance and look up shepherds. Because none of them are any good, except for the prophecies of Jesus' arrival. They are shepherds that cannot understand. Why are you following shepherds that cannot understand? They're dumb dogs that they can't even bark. They're asleep on the job. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. You're following the big box pastors and platforms who can never have enough. They cannot understand. They look to their own way for their own gain. That's how you become a PLF, a programmable life form for Satan. And your soul, that we just read in Psalm 7, will be rendered to pieces. And yes, Jesus will allow that to happen. And he's not going to save you. He will say, depart from me, I never knew you. Go to the left with the goats. That's called ruling with a sword. You're out of here. You're no bride of mine. You're not worthy of me. You didn't spend time in the living word. You were programmed to get out of the living word and to follow somebody else's indoctrination. You are allowing to happen to you what's told to you in all of Jeremiah 25, but I can only read verses 32 to 38. Hang out for a day in Jeremiah 25. Let's read verses 32 to 38. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. What's the great whirlwind, if not religion? 33. Jeremiah 25:33. And the slain of the Lord shall be at the day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. That's religion. Verse 34, how, ye shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes, ye principal of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and your dispersions are accomplished, and ye shall fall like a pleasant vessel. And the shepherds shall have no way to flee, nor the principal of the flock to escape. Do you see what that's saying? You're following a shepherd you call clergy. Your soul has no way to escape. You distill this message. Every single prophet has a different way of saying it. Every one of them is saying the same thing. You follow a shepherd, that is to say a clergy person, whatever their title is, and your soul, Jesus will say to you, depart from me, I never knew you. You either follow the living word and you stick right there beside Jesus, or your soul is going to hell. Ask Howard Pittman about that. You guys read his books on that. Saying right here in Jeremiah 25, let's read verse 36 to 38. A voice of the cry of the shepherds and the howling of the principal of the flock shall be heard. For the Lord hath spoiled their pasture. Why would God spoil your pasture? As in, depart from me, I never knew you. 37. And the peaceable habitations are cut down because of the fierce anger of the Lord. He hath forsaken his covert as the lion. For their land is desolate because of fierceness of the oppressor and because of his fierce anger. Do you see the constant message? What the prophets are telling you. In the end, you will stand in front of Jesus and he will say, depart from me, I never knew you. That's what the prophets are telling you. The prophets are telling you about the end game. There's going to be one and only one shepherd. Right? There's only going to be one shepherd. And when you meet the real shepherd and he says, depart from me, I never knew you, there'll be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Distill the living word down, and that's what it's all about. Depart from me, I never knew you. All of the prophets, that's all they're telling you. That's all they're telling you. They're telling you you're going to follow a shepherd into indoctrination, and it will be your soul burning in hell. The distillation process is simple. It's the one verse in Matthew 7, depart from me, I never knew you. That's all it is. You spend 6 years, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week in the living word, and you can distill it down to that. And you can see they're telling you about indoctrination. Isaiah has his way, Jeremiah has his way, Ezekiel has his way, Daniel has his way. But the bottom line is that simple. You follow a shepherd to your demise, to hell. Truly, guys, maybe you only have an hour of quiet time on the Sabbath. Go to the concordance and read the shepherds. It's all the same thing. Wailing and gnashing of teeth. It's about indoctrination. It's summarized beautifully in Job 19. Beautiful summary of it. It's told to us time and again. But we don't spend enough time in the living word to see it. Because we prefer our traditions, our culture, our routines of our Sunday services. Oh, yeah, you're a good little PLF. Job 19 is said in Ezekiel has his way of saying what Job 19 says. Hang out, after you spend time in Job 19, go hang out in Ezekiel 34. Give Ezekiel 34 a full 12 hours. Ezekiel 34, you will understand its meaning. It is our life today in the Devil's Dome. We are always the sheep. And read what religions and education, medicine, science, whatever you want to call it, really read the agenda of this dome on your soul. If Ezekiel 34 can turn you against this dome life, if that doesn't do it, nothing ever will. You've been PLF'd, to your death. Right? You will not get, your crown has been taken away. Ezekiel 34 is a beautiful description of life in this dome. There's nothing good about it. Your soul is rendered into pieces. It's game over. It means you're going backward. Our life is completely spelled out. In every single chapter, Job 19 and Ezekiel 34 are good descriptions. If that doesn't scare you, if that can't stop you from sending your little ones into the so-called education system, nothing will. Ezekiel 34 is your life from birth to death. It's how the shepherds, again, all of the clergy of every religion, are feeding on your soul and serving for themselves mammon and giving credits to the devil, delivering your soul to the devil until one day, again, a pole ship, all the mountains and islands are out of their places, which also means all of the temples, all the houses of worship will be destroyed by a pole shift. It's told to you in Isaiah 40 verse 4, Revelation 6:14, Nahum 1:5, Psalm 97:5. It's all about the pole shift. So souls can come here, not be influenced by the devil's religions, his temples and houses of worship, his indoctrination, education called schools and universities. That's going to take time to rebuild. So there'll be many thousands of years for souls to come here and just live indigenously with Mother Nature and God's creation. His trees, his flowers, his animals, his birds, his marine life. So, I cannot read all of Ezekiel 34, so let me just read verse 27. And the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am the Lord, when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them. The tree of the field is you, Betsy. You're going to yield your fruit. You're going to come back here as a soul. If you don't graduate this time around, it's promised to you, you're going to come back, and the earth is going to provide for you. Nature is going to provide. The earth shall yield her increase. All of the food is going to provide. The animals are going to provide for you. This creation, before the devil sets up his agenda again, will nourish you as a soul, and you will graduate, and you will not come back to this dome. You need to teach your young souls that. The children you're having right now, they need to live Ezekiel 34 verse 27. That means they're not in school buildings, they're not in universities, they're not working 9 to 5. No. They're living in harmony on God's land. They are living in a self-sustaining situations. They are living as indigenous souls to God's creation. That's all you need to know. Ezekiel 34, hang out right there in 27. Write it on your refrigerator and teach your kids every day to yield their fruit. If we don't start learning how to grow food, 100 years ago, every single person walking this land called Earth, this dome, knew how to grow their own food. That not only grow their own food, preserve their food for a year or more. There isn't a person walking this dome today that knows how to grow food. 99% walking around in the dome today have never grown their own food. I knew when I came into this dome, that was the first thing I had to learn. Luckily, I grew up on a farm, and I did grow up growing food, walking into the garden, and picking dinner. Now, you can also read about the poor state of our shepherds in Amos, in Micah, in Nahum, in Zephaniah. But I'm gonna explore Zechariah 11 here. Let's just hang out. All right, give a little bit of time. Zechariah 11. It's the same story as Ezekiel 34. It's just another way of talking about the days before the pole shift and the people following religious shepherds. And we are referred to in Zechariah 11 as the slaughtered. Why would the prophets call us the people that we are slaughtered? Why do they do that? What are they telling you? Is it a warning? What would be the point of the living word if it's not a warning? They are telling you shepherds are going to slaughter you. Ezekiel says it different from Zechariah. It's the same message. What does that mean if you're slaughtered? You're on the death birth cycle. That's not abundant life. The death birth cycle is not abundant life. Jesus came that you may have life abundantly. Okay, does life abundantly sound to you like the slaughtered? Think about it. Sabbath will be here in a few hours. Really ask yourself that question. Ask yourself if you want to keep following shepherds. Do a study on shepherds and see what the prophets are telling you about the shepherds. Why would Jesus call himself a shepherd if he's not trying to point out all the prophecies, or I should say all the prophets, the prophets' prophecies? Do you think that's a coincidence? That was the only language they had. In the days that the prophets were writing, they didn't have religious language. They understood shepherds of the flock. Does Jesus not call us his flock? Again, all of the living word only has one message. You're following an evil shepherd, or you're following the shepherd. And the shepherd is the living word. So, again, Zechariah 11, same story as Ezekiel 34. Another way of talking about the days before the pole shift, people following religions. Let's in Zechariah 11, let's read verse 4. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter. So God is calling us the flock of the slaughter. Saying right here in Zechariah 11, let's skip down to verse 7. And I will feed the flock of the slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staves, the one I called beauty, and the other I called bands, and I fed the flock. Zechariah 11 is calling the people in the days of Jesus, timeline, when he walked throughout Jerusalem. In Zechariah 11, he talks about the arrival of the shepherd. Let's see what Zechariah 11 is telling us in verse 12. And I said unto them, if you think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. That's a prophecy of our one and only shepherd. Jesus was turned over by 30 pieces of silver. So religions and their gurus, whatever their shepherds call themselves, in the days of Jesus, even then we were called the slaughtered. How much worse are we today? How many thousands of years have we been PLF'd today in 2026? Again, the state of our clergy/shepherds today is told to us, again, staying right here in Zechariah 11 and verse 16. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still, but he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their claws in pieces. Wait, what? Is that what you want to happen? So now, instead of calling ourselves whatever your religion titles is, we can call ourselves what the prophets of the living word calls us, the slaughtered. Just like Zechariah 11, Ezekiel 34, compare that to Jeremiah 11. It's all the same message. Jeremiah 11, for he too is telling us the same thing. The bottom line, if you do not read the living word, Jeremiah calls the covenant, then you're following evil shepherds to your slaughter. We know that to be the reincarnation cycle that Jesus calls the death birth cycle. Read all of Jeremiah 11, what it says. I'm going to read verse 11. Therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Is that not the same message that Jesus tells you in Matthew 7? Depart from me, I never knew you. Are we seeing what Jeremiah is telling us? Jeremiah 11:11 is saying that Jesus is going to say these very words, I will not hearken unto them. In Jesus' words, he says, depart from me, I never knew you. It's the same message. It's in 100, if not 1,000 ways. The entirety of the Old Testament is all about your indoctrination, religions, evil shepherds, and depart from me, I never knew you. It's all about that. It's all about your shepherds. Not being in the covenant, but being in their own pride, their own mammon, their own greed. As we read in Jeremiah 11, let's read verse 14. Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry or a prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. Your shepherds praying out loud for your congregation is not heard by God, as Jesus confirmed in his time here in Matthew 6:6. Let's read the difference. Let's read the difference between Jeremiah 11:14 and Matthew 6:6. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet. When thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father which is in secret. Don't even say it out loud inside your closet. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Jeremiah 11 is telling to us what religion, that is to say, the shepherds of religions, will do to us as a whole. For we are brides born upright, a tree full of fruit. Once you know this, that religions do not want you to know, this is what happens to your fruit. This is what you follow evil shepherds, the clergy of religions today. Jeremiah 11 tells you what will happen. Jeremiah 11 verse 18. And the Lord hath given me knowledge of it, and I know it. Then thou showedest me their doings, but I was like a lamb or an ox that is brought to slaughter. And I knew not that they had devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered. Wait, what? This is why Jesus will say, depart from me, I never knew you, because you allowed them to take the fruit off your tree. You allowed them, as a lamb or an ox, to be brought to the slaughter. You allowed them to have devices devised against you. You allowed them to tell you what the living word is all about, instead of getting in there intimately and reading it for yourself. You allowed an agenda, an indoctrination over the living word, period. You took the path of least resistance. The road less traveled is 6 hours a day. 6 years, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's the road less traveled. And I understand no one has that kind of luxury that I've been blessed with. But I've been blessed with it so I can come back and give you the truth over your indoctrination. Even people that have been blessed to stay in their house, to be a hermit in a cave, and to read the living word 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, those who have been blessed with that kind of time still will not give the living word its due diligence. Will you? There's plenty of retired people out in the world. They could do their due diligence, but they do not. They prefer distraction. They prefer to be slaughtered and their fruit ripped from them and the crown off of their head. What do you think cut off from the land of living means? If you do not believe in death, birth cycle, reincarnation, then you need to redact all of Jeremiah. Matter of fact, you need to just go ahead and black out and redact the entire Old Testament, because it's the only thing that it's about. So go ahead, tear out the Old Testament, and follow your evil shepherds, whatever their clergy title is, out off the land of the living. Go to your concordance, put in land of the living. There is 15 verses. I'm going to read them all, because I want to make a point. If you're still on the fence about being a bride, a tree full of fruit in the land of the living, until you let evil shepherds, clergy, with the devil's indoctrination in his over 3,000 religions, before you decide that, why don't you give the living word some time with just those, 5 words, 6 words, the land of the living? Let's read it. It's a worthy study, right? If you spend a Sabbath on all of the verses with shepherds, and then add to that land of the living. It's first found in Job, of course, 28:13. Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. Psalm 27:13. I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Psalm 52:5. God shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. Selah. What is he telling you? What is David telling you there? Psalm 116:9. I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. Psalm 142, verse 5. I cried unto thee, O Lord, I said, thou art my refuge and my portion in the land of the living. Isaiah 38:11. I said, I shall not see the Lord, even the Lord in the land of the living. I shall behold no more with the inhabitants of the world. I shall behold man no more with the inhabitants of the world. What's being said to you? Are you seeing it? Come on, Betsy. Isaiah 53:8. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he is cut off of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. Now, I already read Jeremiah 11, verse 19, on the land of the living. So let me skip down to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 26:20. When I shall bring thee down with them that descended into the pit, when the people of old time, and shall set thee in the low parts of the earth, in places desolate of old, with them that go down to the pit, that thou be not inhabited, and I shall set glory in the land of the living. Which one Would that be for you, Betsy? Which one do you want? Do you want the pit or the land of the living? We got a choice. Ezekiel's telling us we got a choice. Now, hang out in a day in Ezekiel 32. I am going to read verses 23 to 27. Ezekiel 32, 23 to 27. Whose graves are set in the sides of the pit, and her company is round about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which caused terror in the land of the living. There is Elam and all her multitude around about her grave, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, which are gone down uncircumcised into the nether parts of the earth, which caused the terror in the land of the living. Yet have they borne their shame with them that go down to the pit. They have set her bed in the midst of the slain with all of her multitude. Why would your bed be in the midst of the slain? Are we seeing the one message here? Let's finish it out. All of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword, though their terror was caused in the land of the living. Yet they have borne their shame with them that go down to the pit. He is put in the midst of them that be slain. There is Meshech Tubal, and all of her multitude. Her graves are round about him, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword, though they cause their terror in the land of the living. And they shall not lie with the mighty that are fallen of the uncircumcised, which are gone down to hell, with their weapons of war, and they have laid their swords under their heads, but their iniquities shall be upon their bones, though they were the terror of the mighty in the land of the living. And I'll jump down now, Ezekiel 32, wrap up with verse 32 with Ezekiel here. For I have caused my terror in the land of the living. He shall be laid in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that are slain with the sword, even Pharaoh and all his multitude, saith the Lord God. Once you spend real obedience to the living word, you will see it's only this one message. Now, Jesus will simplify this one message in Matthew 18. Hold on, I got to get a drink. It's the living word. The living word is protecting you from the devil's dome of religions, taking you out of the land of the living, making your tree unfruitful, telling you you're born in sin, and you're not. You think you're waiting on the second coming, already happened, and now you're waiting to get the crown of the bride. You are born with a crown. We know you can lose your crown by getting tripped up on religions. Let's look how simply Jesus tells us all of that. It's wrapped up in Matthew 18. Let's read verse 6 first. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Now explain, how could you perish? If we are eternal, immortal souls, as told to us in Matthew 18:14, let's read it. Even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. Well, that's another way of saying you're taken out of the land of the living. Your tree becomes unfruitful. You perish. In Matthew 13:22, it's by following and listening to those who make you stumble, as in religious authority, clergy people, evil shepherds. Any pastor worth anything would step down. He would know he's headed for a millstone around his neck. Who do you think Jesus is referring to when he calls us the little ones? You and me, Betsy, we're the little ones. He's not referring to children. He's referring to his flock, no matter your age. Any clergy person who has spent the kind of time in the living word would never choose to be a clergy, ever. They would not agree to that indoctrination. So we read in Matthew 18, why would you want this outcome if not for mammon, money? A real person, obedient, thirsty, with a love for, with only one intent in their life, to be in the living word, they would live as James the Just told you to live. James 1:12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Your love of anything other than Jesus, in the Old Testament, that would be Paul. That's how you end up in the fires of hell. Now, it's explained to us in many ways. It's the same message said through as many metaphors that it's going to take you to get knocked over the head. It's like, oh, got it now. We have to distill it down so that our peel up brains, and that's what it is, we are genetically modified and programmable. We are seduced by our distractions. We're seduced by the TV. All of it. Theatrics, bread and circus. So it's a worthy study. It's told to us, the living word is told to us in many ways in Proverbs 4. It's worthy of our time. So I'm going to read right now all of Proverbs 4 and explain how many ways it's told to you. Proverbs 4 is saying nothing other than stay in the living word only. You go outside of the living word, you go to the clergy, you go to religions, you let another man's doctrines tell you what the living word is about, and you are plucked from the land of the living. Your fruit is plucked off your tree. Your soul is rendered in pieces. You can do nothing outside of the living word. Proverbs 4 makes it super clear on that. It's all you need to know. It's all you need to teach your kids. One thing to teach your kids, Proverbs 4. It's super simple. Let's read it. We're going to read it all. Hear ye children the instruction of a father, and attend to no understanding. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law. When you see the word law, it's talking about the living word. It's not talking about following your actual dad. You don't need to follow the rules and the agenda of your dad. You need to follow the law. The law is the living word. Don't break the 10 Commandments, and you're going to be fine. You're not going to be pulled off the land of the living. That's called Cornelian law. That is, say, Satan's Cornelian law. The agenda of this dome, the devil's dome, Cornelian law, that is another way to say karma, the cycle of death and birth. You don't need to perish onto that cycle. Proverbs 4, verse 3, for I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also and said unto me, let thy heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Again, not perish. Verse 5, get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not. Neither decline from the words of my mouth. That means the living word only. Forsake her not. She shall preserve thee. Love her, and she will keep thee. Who is she? Love her. Who is that? The living word. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. Who's her? The living word. Not shepherds, not doctrines of men. Verse 9. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Who is she here? The living word. Hear, my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in the right paths. When thou go, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou run, thou shalt not stumble. Following shepherds and not the living word, that's how you stumble. Take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life, the living word. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. That is your religious shepherds called the clergy. Proverbs 4 verse 15. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it and pass away. What's being told to you here? All religions. Turn from it. Do not pass by it. Verse 16. For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. You see the devil's reward here? Devil rewards his shepherds. He caused them to fall. Verse 17, for they eat the bread of wickedness, they drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light, that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. There's only one shepherd to follow, and it's called the living word. Verse 20, my son, attend to my words, incline thine ear up unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart, for they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are issues of life. Put away from thee a froward mouth, and perverse lips put far from thee. The devil's shepherds, right? All his religions. You're being warned here. That's what's being told to you. The only thing that you require or need to stay in the land of the living, the crown on your head, the fruit on your tree, is the living word. You should have nothing to do with religion. We'll finish up Proverbs 4, 25 to 27. Let thy eyes look right on. Let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. If you do not spend at least, 12 hours, a whole Sabbath, in every chapter of the Old Testament prophets and the red letters of Jesus, in every psalm, in every proverb, Jesus summarizing them. If you cannot see the message of the living word, now it took me over 6 years to overturn the established so-called society today. Jesus overturned the religious authority, that society, and the timeline he was walking through Jerusalem, right? Remember what he called religious authority. John 8:4. Give that some of your time. He called them the children of the devil. What more do you need? I mean, there's nothing more I can do for it. Anita K. Owens, Potter out.